In periods beginning around 2000s, most of our Zimbabwean citizens relocated from Zimbabwe, moving to nearby countries and even going abroad to look for greener pastures. Now we are in 2021 and there has been calls from our government through the Ministry of Lands, Agriculture, Fisheries, Water and Rural Resettlement right here in Zimbabwe for the diasporans out there to come back and invest in agricultural activities, in farming activities in Zimbabwe for the prosperity of our nation as we forge way towards achieving Vision 2030 as a country. Thank you, Zimbabwe, for tuning into yet another informative edition of your program. This is Agricultural New Directions, Agribusiness, and I am Wadzanai Manyore. So this is a platform that we specifically created for our farming community here in Zimbabwe and even abroad because we have a YouTube channel. This is where we discuss issues, pertinent issues in agriculture, the application of business principles and ethics in the Zimbabwean agriculture as we move towards achieving Vision 2030 as a country. Now in this very episode, we are here in Mashonal and Central Mazowe at Ivado Farm, a farm which is owned by Mr. Sarireni. He is a diasporan. He was in the diaspora for the past 26 years, but he is back now in Zimbabwe, here in Mashonal and Central, taking part in agricultural activities. Mr. Sarireni, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Wazza. Thanks for having me.
Yes. As I've alluded to earlier, we are in an era where our government is making calls out there. Come back, Zimbabweans. Let us build our country. Let us build our nation. You are here at Ivado Farm at this point in time. You were in the UK for the past 26 years. Let us talk about a brief background of your activities here. How did it start from when you left the UK to come back in Zimbabwe? And your enterprises here, what are you farming?
Thank you, Wazza. The first thing I would want to say to you is the only thing that I have that is mine, that no one will say anything about it, is Zimbabwe. It's my country. And I'm happy as a diasporan, as you put it, been in the UK for 26 years. But then I heed the call of the government for diasporans to come back home and be part of the solution of building our economy. As you would read on social media, we have a bunch of Zimbabweans who have sold their countries with their souls, that they talk rubbish about their country.
Yes.
But I decided that I cannot talk about Zimbabwe because it's the only thing that I have that nobody can claim from me. So through the government's call, the government of Zimbabwe, to say diasporans, come home and be part of building this nation. I think you will remember the day the president came from South Africa when he was just coming to take reins in the leadership of the country. I remember very well he said, I am calling on all progressive Zimbabweans to come back and build the nation. And therefore, here I am. I came to be part of building the nation to achieve Vision 2030, according to the president, through agriculture. That's why I'm here at Ivado Farm.
Yes, thank you so much, Mr. Sarireni. Indeed, calls from our president to come back to Zimbabwe and be part of a solution, a long-term solution, if you are going to prosper as a nation. Now, I understand that as we pave way towards achieving Vision 2030 as a country, we are looking at solutions. We are looking at the application of business principles in agriculture, the treatment of agriculture as a business, which is where the term agribusiness emanates from. What are your sentiments on the treatment of agriculture as a business?
Okay. Simple explanation of business, it means someone is busy.
Yes.
You're busy doing something, either you're busy doing nothing or you're busy doing something progressive. But if it's a business, you're busy trying to make a living and trying to make money. So Zimbabwe is an agro-based country, which means most of our money, how to grow our economy, it has to be through agriculture. So I am here to learn what or how I can be able to use agriculture as a way of making a living and feeding the nation.
Yes.
As you know that as blacks, we were not privileged to be able to be sitting on a beautiful piece of land like this. This was reserved for the minority. But thank God for the Zimbabwe government that stood firmly and said, we will fight for our people so that they can control their own economy. So I am involved in making sure that business or this land turns into gold, it turns into United States dollars, it turns into bond, it turns into RTGS. So I'm here to utilize the land so that I can get a living and make some money from it.
Yes, thank you so much, Mr. Sareni. Indeed, everything that a farmer has to touch, including the soil, he should be able to turn it into gold, turn it into cash that is usable by our citizens and even for himself. Now, some of the government programs that you took advantage of as a diasporan, there are always issues to do with capital. People are saying we are passionate about agriculture, but we need capital. Let us talk about some of the government programs that were availed to us by our government as farmers that you have taken advantage of, that have enhanced your agricultural activities.
Was the government of Zimbabwe, from day one, when the land reform started, during President Robert Mugabe's time, they rolled out a lot of programs to support farmers. Remember, we're just people, maybe some of us were just teachers, or some were just engineers. We had no clue about agriculture. But when the government of Zimbabwe took land, they supported the farmers through and through. But of course, when farmers were supported, there are some who had other ideas.
Indeed.
Right? They had other ideas. You remember when the land program started, there were programs like Maguta. And I remember people getting thousands and thousands of liters of diesel. People were giving, some were even given tractors, some were given equipment. But there is this small section, a group of Zimbabweans who are not very progressive. They decided, instead of taking the diesel to the field, they took it to Mbare, they took it to the black market. But the government has always been supporting from land reform.
Even to add on that, there's been master farmer programs where our farmers were trained and given certificates at the end of our age period, called the master farmer program. Yes. Now, as we move right along, rounding off this segment, we are left with a few minutes, Mr. Sarireni. We have established, number one, government has been supportive since day one, since the land reform program. I really remember the Maguta program. I was still in high school, but it was a program that came to farmers. And some who wanted to succeed took advantage of it and ran with it, and they did succeed. Now let us talk about the potential in agriculture. Now 67% to about 70% of our population in Zimbabwe make a living out of agriculture. And look into the future with the government behind us, backing the youth, backing farmers like you. What is the potential? And look into the future 5 years from now.
Well, the potential is great. I will address this to my diaspora community, that, gentlemen, if we don't take advantage of what's happening, there's a huge, huge potential. What our government is doing, they are creating an environment for creating millionaires through agriculture.
Yes.
I was talking to you off camera, remember, I said there are 3 entry levels that one can be involved with agriculture. It's either you can choose to be involved on the field. We cannot all be farmers.
Yes.
Okay. You can be on the field, actually waking up like me, staying here at the farm, playing with the field and tractors and everything. But there's also another opportunity where you go into the processing. That's value addition. You can say, okay, Mrs. Sareni, I don't want to come to stay in the farm, but I want to stay in town and process your products. You can make cooking oil. You can make all sorts of byproducts from agriculture. That's another entry level. And there's one area that sorry to use this word, I'm sorry, it's TV, our white folks have taken advantage of, is providing the implements that we need in agriculture. They sell tractors to us. They sell those pivots that you see there. They own all those companies. And I'm saying to my diaspora friends, there is an investment opportunity. The land in Zimbabwe is big. It needs all these opportunities to be filled in. And remember, I was talking about consortiums in the diaspora. We have a group of white folks. I don't know, God, okay.
I'm going to have to cut you short. Talking about the various opportunities that lie along the agricultural value chain. Viewers, we're going to go on a short commercial break. We'll be right back with this and more in the second segment of your program. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, viewers. You are watching Agricultural New Directions, Agribusiness, a platform which we created for our farming community here in Zimbabwe. Now, viewers, we encourage you to be a part of these conversations. Feel free to get in touch with the producer, Wadzanai Manyore, on 0772 807 506. Alternatively, you can like our Facebook page, Agribusiness with Wadzanai. You can also make a follow-up and leave your comments and suggestions on our YouTube channel. It's Agribusiness with Wadzanai. We are also now available on Twitter, and our Twitter handle there is at Agribusiness 110. Now, we are still here at Ivado Farm in Mashonaland Central, where I'm joined by Mr. Sarireni, who was in the diaspora for the past 26 years. He's lived in the UK, but now he is back, taking part in agriculture, participating in farming activities that will ensure prosperity in our country. Mr. Sarireni, we are in the second segment of our program. Welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now, earlier on, before we went to the break, you were talking of the investment opportunities that are available, that our friends and our relatives in the diaspora there can take advantage of and participate in the growth of our economy. Can you take from there?
Okay. So there are a lot of investment opportunities for guys in the diaspora. And I'm saying to my diaspora friends, the time to invest back home is now. Stay away from politics, get involved with production.
Leave room for professionalism in agriculture.
Yes, there is a lot of investment opportunities. I think every time we see planes flying into Zimbabwe, you see a lot of foreigners coming into the same country that they say it's a no-go area. It's because they know there is an opportunity. And I'm saying to my diaspora community, please come back home. Now I was talking about opportunities. When I came here, and I was just going around trying to do my research in agriculture, I found that there are a lot of consortiums that have come together and get involved into agriculture. Now, there's one that's called INAMO. When I researched about INAMO, it's a group of young, very young white farmers.
Yes.
We have come together, put in their resources, because some of them, they don't have offer letters, they don't have, they don't have land. They decided to go to those guys who are not utilizing the land and say, can we lease the land from you? And my research, as I found out now, they have over 1,000 hectares of land where they've put either soya beans, maize, seed maize, and they're also doing exports of peas, flowers into Holland. So this is a group of young people, white young people who have come together and say, we are going to utilize the land. So it's an opportunity for those guys in the diaspora, whether you are in the United States, whether you are in the United Kingdom or you're in Canada, form consortiums, come and approach the government and saying we are looking for land. There's lots of lands where you come and invest and do your agriculture activities. And then talked about the food processing or the processing in general. You can buy all those equipment for making cooking oil, for making soya chunks, soya cakes. Everything is made here in Zimbabwe. Just across the road there near in Conciliation, I know there's a white dude who is making a plant for soya beans. It means he's just gonna be buying from us.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sarireni.
Yeah.
I like that you spoke of export growth.
Yes.
We have issues in our economy such as trade imbalance. There are issues in our government where our government is urging us to participate so that we address issues such as budget deficit, whereby our current accounts are always in the negative. We are for every dollar that is coming in, 4 is going out. Through issues such as importing soya beans that we can grow, we have a comparative advantage here in Zimbabwe where we can actually grow soya beans. Our soils and our climate do allow that. So we are talking about trade imbalance, food security, export growth, unemployment, issues surrounding our societies. Your sentiments on that, aligning them to participation in agriculture?
Okay, like I said, the government is giving us all the support, but they are also doing everything they can to make sure that every inch of Zimbabwe is utilized.
Very true.
That's why I heard the president saying we are doing a land audit. There are some people who own 5-6 farms, but they are not utilizing them.
Yes.
And also the government is trying to put irrigation facilities, like building dams. Those are all the efforts that the government is putting. But of course, one thing I would ask from the government is when we have people who have grown the crops, they don't know how to do exports, I would ask the Honorable Minister of Agriculture to look into how they can help farmers market their crops. I think if my responsibility is to grow crops, my Minister of Agriculture should also be going out of the country to look for
export markets.
Export markets for us.
Yes.
So I don't know if the government is doing that. I think they're doing that through Zimtrade. If they are doing it, they need to speed up the process, because they've got crops that are rotting in their food, like tomatoes, like onions. People grow onions, they grow all these crops, and they don't have anywhere to sell them. So I'm asking for the Minister of Agriculture, if the minister is hearing me, to do everything they can to go all out and look for export markets for us, so that we have somewhere to sell our crops.
Thank you, Mr. Sarireni. Moving right along, if we are going to be treating agriculture as a business, gone are the days where we can rely on rent-fed agriculture. You borrow money from an institution, or even your diasporan relative or friend invests in you, gives you capital to do agricultural activities. Then you sit there relying on rent-fed agriculture. I want us to talk about irrigation. As we are standing here, I can see these guns, sprinklers, which are irrigating your sugar bean crop. We also have that pivot there, which has been irrigating your seed maize crop. Let us talk about irrigation as an enabler in agriculture, in the business side of agriculture.
Okay, let me say, if you want to be using agriculture as a business, there's no way you can rely on God-provided rains.
Yes.
You need to be a farmer 24/7. Whether it's cold, you need to, and the ingredient to do that is water. So you need to have the irrigation. There are a lot of institutions here in Zimbabwe who are supporting agriculture. You see, we are in March. The rain seems to have gone away. That's why we are irrigating our sugar beans. So if I didn't have rains, then it means I'm going to lose this crop. If I grow my sugar beans during a lot of rain seasons, the quality is not good. So we need to endeavor as much as we can to make sure that we have an irrigation system in place. But the good thing again, government is serious on building dams. They are going all over providing facilities for this.
As we round off this segment, Mr. Sarireni, just a snippet of your sentiments on the involvement of each and every family member in farming.
I'm sorry, woman. We just had Women's Day recently.
Yes.
And it's so painful to know that we have a few women involved in agriculture. But the good thing is those few women that are involved, they are very good at it. Okay. But like you've said, talking about families, we only find fathers in the field, mostly. The ladies are in town, going to spa, having all those things, and having their, baby showers, and never get involved with what the men are doing on the farm. Now, let me tell you the problem, what will happen. I've actually seen those problems. If the father who is the breadwinner, or who is the person who is involved in the farm, God forbid, but if it happens to be with the Lord and you are left, the wife will try to come and run the farm. But the truth is they've not been involved.
In the words of Mr. Sarireni, viewers, let us work together as a family, and also let us spend our proceeds together as a family. Now, viewers, we are going to go on a short commercial break. We'll be right back with this and more in the third and final segment of your program. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, viewers. We are in the third and final segment of your program, where we are here at Evado Farm in Mashonaland Central, a farm owned by Mr. Sarireni. Mr. Sarireni, of all the cropping enterprises that you have here, we're going to be zeroing in on your sugar bean crop. You have managed to establish such a beautiful crop. It looks organized, weed-free, and it looks healthy. Can you maybe take us through how you established this crop?
Okay, you encourage me when he says a beautiful crop. I don't know if it's beautiful. Remember, I told you I'm still learning the trade.
Okay.
But anyway, talking about sugar beans, yes, we have about 15 hectares of sugar beans, which we planted in February. And I had to learn the hard way. As you would know that we have had a lot of rain this season. So every time I will apply my bars of fertilizer and my fertilizers, I was having a problem that the crop kept on getting yellow, and And I didn't understand what I was getting wrong.
Yes.
And then until I got a professional advice that because we have had a lot of rain, we're going to have a problem with leaching.
Yes.
So yes, everything done, weed control, herbicides, trying to get a better plant population, and preventing the crop from getting bean maggot, using diazonan, using all those chemicals, but I still had a problem of leaching. Until I bumped into a gentleman by the name of Ngoni Chandiwana. Actually, I didn't bump into him. Let me testify. It was through your program, Wadza.
Okay.
Okay. I saw this gentleman talking about, I have liquid fertilizer that's going to fight for you during these
trying times of leaching.
trying times of leaching. And I was saying, one of the students who is on attachment here, she said to me, boss, come and listen to this man who's talking about liquid fertilizer.
On agribusiness.
On agribusiness, on your program, actually.
Yes.
And then at the same time, I gave him a call. And I said, hey, I have a problem here. And he was like, don't worry. His name is Mr. Ngoni Chandiwana, works for SASA.
Yes.
And I said, it was my sugar, my soya beans and my sugar beans, they were leaching. And he said, he explained to me about his fertilizer. And we made an arrangement. Quickly we met. He gave me, when you see the package, I was like to my student, I say, is this guy not playing a fast one on us?
You underestimated the project.
But then he told us how to spray it 3 times. And then he warned us that this is not a microwave fertilizer. With our normal AN, you put your fertilizer today, tomorrow, 3rd week, everything it's like magic. Green. And he said it's not a microwave. It takes time because it has long effects. So we put the sasa in our maize, we put in our soya beans, and then we put in our sugar beans. And as time was going on, 2 weeks, my face began to change. I started to smell. That was my introduction to sasa liquid fertilizer. It worked wonders for me.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sarireni. On that note, we are going to cross over where we are going to be talking to you, Mr. Chandiwana. Can you maybe give us your final word, your final words of remarks to our audience, our viewers there at home?
I will just address myself to the diasporans, my colleagues. Guys, let's heed the call of the government to come and be part of the solution. Let's be part of Vision 2030 that the president is talking about. Agriculture is one of the areas. I know there's mining. For me, I'm just talking of agriculture because that's where I've chosen. I'm inviting you, as many as you are in the diaspora. Put your monies together, come invest back in agriculture, and let's build our country. Zimbabwe is the only country that we have that nobody can claim from us.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sarireni. Yeah. There you heard it, viewers, in the words of Mr. Sarireni, investing in farming activities as we forge way towards achieving Vision 2030 as a country. We are going to cross over and talk to Mr. Ngoni Chandiwana. He is here with us today. Now, at this point in time, I am joined by Mr. Ngoni Zashe Chandiwana. He is the Managing Director of SASA Organic Foliar Fertilizer. Mr. Chandiwana, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Ada.
Yes. As we round off our episode, Mr. Chandiwana, I'm very humbled that you have taken your time to come and participate on this episode where we are here in Mashonaland Central. We are talking of agricultural activities through the words of our Deputy Minister and the Minister of Lands, Agriculture, Fisheries, Water and Rural Settlement, Mr. Haritatos, is always saying production. How is your organic foliar fertilizer going to enhance agricultural activities? Because at the end of the day, a farmer is investing in such activities so that he makes a profit, he makes a livelihood out of it. Enhancement of agricultural activities through SASA.
That's precisely what we are here for, to enhance productivity through SASA Nutriplant Organic Fertilizer. How? We are talking of precision farming. We are talking of smart agriculture. So SASA is coming up with 5th generation fertilizer development, which does exactly that in terms of precision agriculture and smart agriculture. When you use our organic fertilizer, the foliar ones, then you are assured of increase in productivity, you are assured of reduction in production cost. Then at the end of the day, the agribusiness that we are talking about makes sense now to the farmer. They can freely invest, both now they can be getting a bit of some smiling on their way to the bank when harvest time comes.
Okay, that was very precise, Mr. Chandiwana. Your final words to our farming community.
I want to encourage our farmers to continuously adopt new technologies. New technologies in agriculture and science in agriculture, they are there to enhance farming, to increase productivity, and to make life easier at the farm. We want everyone to be, we want the new generation to enjoy farming. So we don't want to make it the hard way. There are some farming methods and some farming tools which are meant now for the museum. We are supposed to take on the new technologies and make farming an enjoyable venture for everyone, including the young generation. That's my parting words for our viewers, Madam Waza.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chanduana. There you heard it, viewers. In the words of Mr. Chanduana, there are some farming practices and even some equipment that now belong in the museum. From me, your host, Wadzanai Manyore. I'm on Instagram, it's a W Manyore. And Mukoma Daniel Muranganwa. It was a pleasure having you with us today. Thank you for watching.